various organizations in all sectors to find a star to be acknowledged and celebrated for being exceptional at their work, and particularly during this trying time where we saw the world of work being disrupted by the impact of COVID-19 pandemic. Ladies and gentlemen, the administrative professionals, being the heart and backbone of every unit where they work, were challenged to be agile, creative, and proactive. This and more was required basically to add value in a volatile period that brought not only uncertainty, ambiguity, and complexity. Hence, if you can remember well, Nomvula Mloko in her keynote address at the last year's award ceremony, which was also online, by the way, she spoke at length about being the best in the VUCA world of work. So today, we celebrate that excellence that was exceptionally shown since the beginning of the new normal. So thank you so much for taking time to attend this auspicious ceremony, and congratulations to our amazing finalists for 2021. And of course, we also would like to acknowledge our sponsors, which is CBM Training, CV Champions, ISG Group, and Lawida Lodge.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's always an absolute honor and a pleasure for us to work with OPSA and to sponsor this great event. As Tolo has said, you know, things have changed dramatically for all of us in the recent period, including for CBM Training. So if you would allow me an opportunity, I will talk to you a little bit around some of the changes that we see happening in the training and development market, and maybe talk a little bit around how that would be relevant for office professionals across South Africa specifically. The kind of key question that I had for office professionals that I started off with is to say, do we still need office professionals? Do we still need personal assistants? Do we still need executive secretaries? You know, with everybody working from home and the whole nature of work having gone through such dramatic change, I think that is a question that a lot of people are struggling with at this stage. Am I still relevant? How has my job changed? How do I still add value to my organization? Because the value that I'm adding is different. And how is it different? So we started off when we entered this whole lockdown as a business to do a lot of research and some reflection on what are the unique challenges that we believe are facing managers and leaders in this the new normal. I personally hate the term, but there you go. I'm using it, the new normal. So what are some of those challenges? What are the things that's suddenly different for managers and leaders in businesses? I think one of the fundamental shifts that have taken place for a lot of managers and leaders is this whole idea of leading with compassion. You know, we talk very easily about compassion. We talk about, you know, we care for our staff, we care for our people. But the pandemic has really brought this whole idea of leading with compassion to the forefront. You know, people are going through unbelievable personal challenges during this lockdown. You know, we even in our business, and I'm sure you guys experience it in your circles as well. You know, people have lost their jobs. If people still have their jobs, more often than not, their spouse have lost their jobs, or they are on a reduced salary, or they have lost loved ones during this pandemic, or they have family members who are ill, or they're trying to manage this balance between work and life, you know, trying to get work done working from home, but children are under your feet and the schools have not returned to normal. And all of those things place unbelievable personal burdens on people. So as a leader, if you are not truly compassionate with your staff, it's going to make it very difficult for you to really get them on your side and to help them get through these challenging times. I think very closely related to that, managers are obviously experiencing a challenge with managing remote teams. You know, just the fundamental principle of how do I manage performance when I'm not actually with this person in the office? How do I ensure that they're doing what I expect them to do? How do I have developmental conversations with them when everything's online? You know, that personal contact's just not there. And that makes things very challenging. And they need to understand, how do I still achieve results and how do I still manage effectively, even though I'm not physically in the same environment with the people that I manage? That leads to challenges with communication. You know, as I said, communicating online is very different. We're sitting here doing this award ceremony online, and I think we all know fundamentally the whole experience would have been completely different if we were in a venue together. If I was now standing up in front and I could see these faces in front of me, and I could see people listening to what I'm saying, is there some energy in the room? All of those things create a certain level of communication intimacy, verbal and non-verbal. And that becomes really challenging when all of a sudden all of our communication is either on the telephone or on Zoom or on MS Teams, but we still need to get messages across. And the question for managers is, how do I still communicate effectively when I don't have this physical presence? As much as working from home for some people might be a real blessing, it makes things a little bit more easy. Don't have to travel to work and waste all of that time. One of the big challenges our research has shown us that managers struggle with is time management and setting priorities. Again, as I said earlier, the work-life thing has shifted. But how do I, on a day-to-day basis, with so many things that I need to get done, manage my time, decide what is important, what do I need to have a meeting about, why don't I have a meeting about? That becomes really challenging. And obviously, as I said, the work-life balance in general. I don't think people often realize how tricky and how challenging it has become for us to all of a sudden have our personal lives and our work lives forcibly integrated. Businesses for years have been talking about this whole idea of work-life balance. But, even if you look at those words on the screen, they're separated. They're separated by a slash. It's two different things. Work is on the one side, my life is on the other side. But now with this pandemic, we've been forced that this is not two separate things anymore. Our personal lives, our home lives, our family lives, and our work lives is all of a sudden one. And how do I manage to get everything done while at the same time looking after my personal accountabilities and responsibilities? Another challenge that we've experienced in our research is culture and morale. We all talk about corporate culture and how important it is to build a company culture, but I don't know if you've ever thought about, how do we build a culture when we're not even in the same building? Those of you who work in government institutions, banks, insurance companies, I assume most of you, since the beginning of the lockdown, have probably been working from home. And it definitely is having an impact on this whole idea of culture. What does culture look like during a pandemic? How do I build morale? How do I keep people committed to the organization and committed to the business if we don't actually have an opportunity to even sit and spend time together? The next challenge is new technology. The technology we're using right now. We all suddenly have to do everything on Zoom, MS Teams. We have to keep minutes from meetings online. We have to do these recordings of these meetings. And even myself, we do it extensively in our company. Even myself, from time to time, I land up with some difficulties. I don't exactly know how to create breakaway rooms and how to use my whiteboard effectively. So all of this new technology has suddenly created an expectation for all of us, including office professionals, to be technology experts, to be able to run these meetings effectively using the technology that we have available. An obvious one, I think, is stress management. With all of these new challenges, the pressures on work-life balance, the pressures on time management, it is creating a lot of stress. You combine that with personal challenges and problems that people are experiencing. Stresses are increasing, and stresses are getting quite dramatic for some people on a day-to-day basis. And an interesting one is HR issues. Somebody came to me the other day and they said, well, how do you, for example, manage your leave cycle now that people are working from home? Because all of a sudden, I don't know if it's the same in your organizations, it's definitely happening here at CBM. All of a sudden, nobody's taking leave. Why should I take leave? I'm already at home. So how do we kind of manage these basic HR issues in terms of leave? Can we force people to take leave? How do we deal with absenteeism? Is absenteeism still even an issue? How do I even know whether somebody is at home working or whether they're out at the shops or whether they binge watching Netflix or whatever the case is? I don't know. And that's really creating some interesting challenges for us to understand how to manage HR, basic procedural issues at this time. And then I think the next thing is agility and change. The one thing the pandemic has taught every organization is that we have to be agile. We have to be able to adapt. We have to be able to think on our feet. And as things in our environment shifts, we need to be able to shift and change as an organization as well. And that agility and change is not just agility and change in terms of the organization, it's also personal agility. How do I adapt? Do I even have the skills to adapt to the new challenges and the changes that's happening all around me? So as I said, when we started the pandemic, or when we entered the pandemic, we did this research. We found out that these are some of the key challenges that your managers and your leaders are facing. And in response to that, we developed a very innovative program. We call it Leading During COVID. It's an online program where we help managers and leaders to understand how to navigate some of these challenges, how to manage remote teams, how to become more resilient, how to lead with compassion, manage stress, etc., etc., etc. So that's the way that we've responded. And as I said, it helps the managers and leaders in terms of making these transitions. But the key question, going back to where we started, is how do you as an office professional remain relevant? I don't know if any of you have struggled with this. I know my personal PA a couple of months ago came into my office and said to me, she's kind of struggling with the fact that I don't use her as much as I used to. And she's right. I don't, especially when I'm working from home, I kind of default to just doing it all myself. It's just so much easier, Well, if I was in the office, it would have been as simple as calling my PA in and saying, well, please, can you help me with this? And please, can you resolve this for me? But now if I think, well, I have to pick up the phone, I have to call her, or I have to schedule a Zoom meeting, or I have to send an email, you know what, never mind, I'll just do it myself. And she was really becoming quite concerned around, am I still relevant to you? Can I still make a difference in the organization? And out of that, we started to debate some key areas where I think this pandemic has made the role of an office professional even more relevant than what it was in the past. And I'll share some of those ideas with you. The first one is, I think office professionals are absolutely critical in terms of helping the management and the leadership of the organization to be efficient and to manage their time effectively. How do they do that? Well, first of all, it's about being able to take some of the non-critical tasks off the hands of the managers and the leaders. We spoke in the previous slide around this challenge around time management and prioritization, and how all of a sudden our managerial and leadership roles have become so much more complex. So that is definitely something that managers and leaders, including myself, need from our PAs. Help me to take some of the stuff that's not absolutely critical right now off my hands, so I can focus on leading with compassion and prioritizing and dealing with the changes and coming up with new ideas. To be able to do that, it requires you as an office professional to be proactive. You can't always wait for your managers to ask you to do something for them, because, as I said earlier, most probably they're not going to ask you. They're just not going to delegate. They'll just do it themselves. So be proactive. Engage with them on a continuous basis to ask, what can I take off your hands? What can I help you with? What can I assist with? So yeah, we came up with this idea. Send me a daily brief on what I need to do. Help me to rank it in terms of priority. Is it critical? Is it urgent? And if it's not critical or urgent, we don't need to worry about it today. Let's rather look at it tomorrow, because today is a very busy day. So helping me to kind of plan my day a bit better. One of the things that I also think really helps managers and leaders is if the office professionals give them a call after meetings, especially meetings that they sat in on, and then say, right, so now the meeting is finished. Let's talk. What needs to happen? How do I help you to prioritize it? How do I help you to plan around that? And that helps me to plan my time better, and it helps me to also be a lot more efficient and effective. The next thing in terms of how office professionals remain relevant in these new times is versatility. As much as managers and leadership roles have become more complex, the role of an office professional has also become more complex, not less complex. So in the research and some of the discussions we've had, in my opinion, office professionals need to be able to assist with doing, for example, research around clients, research about what's happening in the market, research around projects that we're running, and helping to collate that research into something that managers and leaders can use. helping them to develop effective communication systems. How do we still communicate and still have some structure and discipline around our communication, even though that kind of face-to-face communication is not in place anymore. Helping to coordinate technology. One of the things that I would love is somebody that will, when I do an online session like this or online training that I do for a day, to almost be helping me to manage it effectively, helping me to navigate through some of the functionalities of the system. So, becoming very au fait and experienced when it comes to some of the technology that's out there. And I think also office professionals become a key driver, especially in these new times, around culture and being a driver and a supporter of culture in the organization, because they generally have the ears to the ground. I'm sure you would agree. And then to be the eyes and ears. Being the eyes and ears for me means helping the managers and the leaders to pinpoint any personal challenges that people might be experiencing, any personal issues that they're struggling with. People are often very reluctant to come directly to managers and leaders when they have these personal issues. And an office professional is often more in direct contact with these people and can be the eyes and ears of the manager. If there's any rumblings and mumblings about people being demotivated and concerns around the culture of the business and concerns around the sustainability of what we're doing, to be able to flag that and bring that to the ears of the managers and the leaders. And also then, as part of their role, to suggest some ways for the manager to get involved. I think, I'll be honest with you, I think a lot of managers and leaders are very intimidated around this whole thing of dealing with personal issues and helping people with that compassion side. A lot of managers and leaders are not naturally compassionate. And I think an office professional can be very helpful in helping them to come up with practical ways of engaging with people and ensuring that we deal with a whole person and not just a work person. So those are some ideas in terms of how I believe office professionals remain relevant. Now, what does that mean? It means that obviously if you want to remain relevant, I believe there are some key skills that office professionals need to develop if you have not developed it already. One of the obvious ones is stress management. CBM training and a lot of other organizations offer practical courses in stress management, helping people to cope with stress more effectively. Negotiation skills, helping to assist in negotiating, even with staff, around better working hours or flexibility in terms of their personal issues. That is an absolutely key skill for any office professional, I believe. Emotional intelligence, especially now that we start talking so much more around compassion and the importance of compassion, I think emotional intelligence is absolutely key for anybody in your type of role, to have some fundamental understanding of how do I use EQ in my engagements with people. We spoke about time management and prioritization. It's easy to say help your manager to prioritize their work, but if you don't have the skills and understanding how to do effective time management, it would be quite difficult for you to really give them practical advice and support them in terms of time management. Communication skills, we spoke about understanding the importance of effective communication and how to implement communication systems inside an organization. And finally, I think conflict management. I don't know if you guys have experienced it, but I'm finding a lot more conflict taking place in business at the moment. People are stressed, people are worried about what's happening at home, and it sometimes boils over and people are fighting and arguing. And it's important to have the ability to help to negotiate and facilitate some of the resolution of that conflict in the work organization. It's not an exhaustive list. It's just some initial ideas from my side in terms of the type of skills that I think has become a lot more relevant for office professionals in current times. So in summary, as I said at the beginning, are you still relevant? Yes, you are. I think office professionals are even more relevant and critical than ever before. But I think the fundamental shift that needs to take place is that I think most of you, if not all of you, you need to upgrade to Office Professional 2.0. And for that, you need to develop your skills to remain relevant and to also future-proof you for what is going to come in the future. So Tolo and Dawn, thank you very much. That's my presentation. Once again, from our side, congratulations to all the nominees, and good luck with the rest of the process.
Thank you so much, Mr. Van Vuuren. That was very enlightening, and I think it is very valuable for us to be aware and learn of the information that you shared with us, because this has been the question since the COVID-19 started, when people started, to work from home, because these are uncharted territories. Leaders are also as confused as everyone, and it takes a day at a time to figure it out, how to work it out. But ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Van Vuuren has shared with us to stay relevant, efficiency, saving time, versatility. Hey, my English is running today. And the eyes and ears. Those are some of the things, as he shared with us, that we need to pay attention to ensure that we do add value in our organizations. And our finalists today have been challenged with that question for them to stand out and prove that really they can take the Administrator of the Year awards, or rather show their excellence in this period. So without wasting any time, we are now going to hand over to Kate Mayo, who is from CV Champions, also to deliver important information to us.
I'm thrilled to be here and to be able to contribute in a meaningful way. For me, life is about seeing the silver lining in all situations. And I think it is never truer than in the face of job seeking. We all need to focus on presenting ourselves in the best light possible while staying true to who we are. And sometimes selling ourselves isn't easy. And this is where professional CV writing can be your biggest asset. Just to give you a little bit of background on CV Champions, we are a nationwide team of highly skilled professional CV writing specialists, LinkedIn experts, and interview coaches, offering their knowledge and experience to job seekers in South Africa. In addition, we provide expertise applying within the international market. So we offer resume packages tailored specifically for the country of application. Our mission is to enable, educate, support, and assist job seekers in all aspects of their job search. Our service includes a variety of packages and offerings. We provide graduate, junior, senior, and executive level packages, and these include a CV and cover letter. In addition, we offer LinkedIn profiles, professional profiles, interview coaching, and a consultation service. Now, let's talk a bit about the professional curriculum vitae. In short, our professional CV writers will reformat your CV into a modern professional format. They reduce content when necessary, and they upskill your documents so that they speak directly to your strengths. They'll make sure that your career experience is clear and that your responsibilities are appropriately detailed. Your CV will be designed to market your skills and your experience, ensuring you get the interview to that position you're after. We also remove any negatively influencing aspects of your original CV that may place you in an unfavorable pile in terms of your application. Something that is vitally important and is often overlooked is the cover letter. CV Champions will design, customize, and personalize a professional covering letter for you, highlighting your unique strengths and career goals. This will express to the employer or the recruiter what you can do for them and why they should interview you. Another aspect to consider is your LinkedIn profile. This is an essential item when entering the job market. Online marketing is rapidly becoming the most effective means of recruitment. We ensure that your profile is fully optimized as well as enticing and professional in order to attract the right attention. I'm sure you all are on LinkedIn and fully aware of the importance of being on there and having a profile that stands out and that is aligned to the roles that you're wanting to apply for. In addition to our writing services, we provide all candidates with a free interview success e-booklet. This booklet contains examples of recruitment questions asked and advice on how to answer them to secure your job. Furthermore, we provide free interview tips from top recruiters and headhunters in South Africa. But for those that are not looking to have a professional write their CVs, I'd like to share a few CV writing tips with you all to add value to your documents and assist you in your applications going forward. So something to keep in mind is that the day of a long drawn-out CV is gone. Nowadays, people don't have the time to read pages and pages of content. You really only have a few seconds to make a lasting impression with your application documents. So when compiling your own CV, make sure you keep sections short, use bullet points, and avoid repetition. Repetition tends to be what we call trance language, and it will put your reader to sleep rather than engage them. So you always have to find ways to reword something using those strong verbs to come in, those action words. Keep your points short, to the point, but impactful. Then just in terms of sections that you should be including in your CV, there are 5 main sections that are vital to a CV. So contact information, your email address and your cell phone number. No need for a postal address or a physical address. Really just short and basic, but you need to make sure that this is at the top of the CV, that it's easy to find. If a recruiter or an employer is reading your CV and that they are fumbling around looking for information, can't find it, they're going to close the CV. So this is something that is really important. You'll be amazed at how many CVs I look at, and the phone numbers at the bottom. There's no email address. There are no contact details. So it's simple, but something that you really do need to consider. Another element that you need to include is your personal statement. So you need to let the reader know who you are and what you offer, but you need to keep it to 4 or 5 sentences. If that section becomes too long, it will lose its impact. People are not going to read paragraphs and paragraphs of information. So as succinctly as you possibly can, sum yourself up in 4 to 5 sentences. Then you need to include your work experience. This is an obvious one, but you need to list your jobs in chronological order, starting from the most recent role. You need to include your company name, job title, and dates, as well as the bullet points of your top functions. Again, this can't be too long. As soon as it becomes long, it loses its impact and people stop reading. Education is important to include. Very basic here: course name, institution, and date of completion. Unless your course was completed in the last couple of years, you don't need to include the subjects. But yeah, just basic information in terms of education. And then the last section is your top skills. This is really important to include, and I see it lacking a lot on CVs. So these are your top 8 to 10 skills that are aligned with the role that you're applying for. There's no use saying that you can belly dance if you are applying for an admin role. And I love saying that to all my male clients because I get a good giggle out of them. But it's really true. You need to analyze the job spec of the role that you're applying for and make sure that the skills that you mention in your CV are aligned with that role. Otherwise, they just become visual clutter and the whole document loses its impact. There are additional sections that you can include in a CV. Your professional certification, so that's just basic training courses you've done in roles, your languages. Employers are also, in South Africa, we multilingual society, so employers like to see the range of languages you can speak. Any volunteer work that adds value to your CV, projects or publications, any awards, and any conferences. Now, when writing content for your CV, really important to use strong verbs. All those action words are important. They show results rather than just a basic job function. And you need to show your achievements. Now, achievements are not only awards. There's a lot of aspect to your role that can be achievement, especially in the office and administration space. Implementing processes, streamlining processes, putting systems in place. This is all something that you can all do with your eyes closed, I'm sure. But if you've executed those strategies well, it make a huge impact on the organization. So just keep that kind of thing in mind when you're writing your CV. At the end of the day, your CV is your sales document. So you need to make sure that it is the best possible representation of your skills. You need to put quite a bit of thought into it. And like I said, remember, keep it short if you can. And then you should have successful application. Thank you for listening to me. Nice and short and sweet this time. And well done to everyone for coming this far. It's really a wonderful achievement. I look forward to working with the winners. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Kate. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Kate Moyo from CV Champions. And I think for me, what is outstanding is the tips that you gave, Kate, because people make mistakes a lot when they do their CVs to submit them. And I mean, given a time like this, people are probably considering even to change organizations or maybe to get other positions in different departments. So this will really come in handy. And ladies and gentlemen, we also heard the kind of services that they offer. So if you do need them, sometimes you just have to get this kind of a service to gauge yourself so that you are well positioned for any other kind of an opportunity that may come your way, that you can be able to grab it. Thank you so much, Kate. And now we are going to move to our keynote address. And our keynote address is brought by the lady. She is a facilitator who believes in a solution-oriented approach and operational execution between executives and assistants through CREATE model. She has over 18 years in corporate and state-owned enterprises and encompassing various office administration roles. And during that time, she achieved a higher education in management, business management, management and operations. She is an award-winning office professional who served the administrative community by serving on boards dedicated to the advancement of the role, and has been invited to be a judge at various administrative competitions. Ladies and gentlemen, she's proficient in 7 African languages, a true Rainbow Nation child, right? Okay, so I present to you an OPSA director, Ms. Nomvula Mloko.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Tulu. I was trying to figure out who is that person that you're talking about, but yeah, that rear view mirror is very important, especially when somebody's talking about you, to begin to reflect a bit on the journey that has brought us here. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so great to be with you this day. Where are the stars of the day? Because I'm the light in the background. Wow, well done to everybody that made it this far. I thought today, in reflection of where we are, the new normal that we are living in, we should begin to talk about resilience, right? Because it is indeed a fact that we have had to live a very resilient life and world, or just for us to reflect on where we are in terms of resilience. Is my screen visible? Everybody can see what I'm sharing with you?
Yes, it is visible.
Perfect. All right, let's get into that. What is resilience? How does it help us in our everyday life? We're going to look at the 5 pillars of resilience and dig a little bit deeper into those. And then we'll also see what happens when we are resilient. And at the end of the day, is it a gift or a curse? Because, it depends on which view you are using, the bottom half or the top full. So let's have a look at that. Now, the dictionary says resilience is a capacity to recover quickly from difficulty. People like to say people have got a thick skin, they can bear it all, nothing. It's like water on the back of a crocodile. I don't know who has got a crocodile skin. All I know is that it makes good bags and shoes. But I don't know if us as human beings, we need that crocodile thick, tough skin. But that's what the dictionary says. It also says that it is the ability of a substance or object to spring back into shape or to retain its elasticity. And haven't we been stretched? Haven't we been pulled in all directions? Haven't we had to pull out of the magic hat, literally tricks for us to survive? I promise you, everyone by now knows how to make the top half of their face looks good for the top half of the camera, exactly as I'm looking. Don't look at my pajamas. Don't look at my thick, fluffy socks. Don't look at my grandma's slippers. I look good. And that is what we all have had to adapt to, you know, to stretch ourselves to be able to get into this new normal that we all are living within. And so when you begin to think about resilience, you know, before resilience, it was more like working under pressure. Can you extend yourself? Right now, it's no longer about just working under pressure. It's also about working under pressure whilst also trying to live a normal life. Like Vikas shared earlier on, the 2-year-old wants a bottle. The 5-year-old wants to watch Peppa Pig. The 7-year-old has to sit down and start their online learning. You've got to start a meeting. So there is 15 different things all happening at the same time, and you are just but one person. How do we then begin to stretch ourselves, you know, to be that elastic band around that nice box of chicken licking Hot Wheels? There are words that we've been hearing of late: pivot, pliability, agility, flexibility. And I suspect everyone by now has discovered that they are Wonder Woman, Superman, Fantastic Four, Batman, you name it. You have found a character for yourself. But then when you think about it all, why is resilience important to us in this day and age? Well, life is not static. Challenges keep coming left, right, middle, and the extreme right. And you now have to figure out how to maintain all this juggling, how to make sure none of the balls drops down and shatters, right? So we have had to overcome the unthinkable. We have had to steer through where there is no blueprint for what I need to do in what is happening. We have had to bounce back from extreme pain, extreme challenges, rapid losses. I mean, you keep hearing people saying there was a family, the mother died. While they were still trying to bury the mother, the father followed on. While they were still trying to do that, the grandmother, the grandfather, the aunt, the uncle, and it's just pressure upon pressure. And at that point in time, do remember, you still have deliverables in the office. You still have to deliver. I'm glad. I suspect Vikas is a magician because he somehow read my presentation and then he also did his. He spoke a lot about compassion, you know, the way we have to begin to understand that it's no longer just about taking compassionate leave. You actually have to be compassionate to yourself, even in the midst of everything that you are going through. And therefore, we need to begin to look at this new normal and say, how do I continue to juggle? How do I continue to pivot? You know, where do I need to be pliable? Where do I need to be flexible? What do I need to put at the back burner and focus on right now? And what do I need to bring to the fore and shelve the other a little bit? And so those are some of the things that we are going to look at. So when we look at the 5 pillars of resilience that we are going to be discussing today, we will be looking at self-awareness. We will be looking at mindfulness. We also will be looking at self-care. We also are going to be looking at a very important aspect of life that has been highlighted, which is positive relationships. Then finally, we now also have to look at purpose. I am convinced beginning March 2020, nobody knew where we would be today. Nobody knew what today would look like. And therefore, many of us had had time to reflect. We have actually been forced to look back and say, wait a minute, what are the little things that I need to do to preserve my sanity, to preserve my peace of mind, to begin to say, I also am important in the bigger scheme of things. Now, when you look at self-awareness, the emotional intelligence learning also speaks a lot about self-awareness. You understand that self-awareness is taking a magnifying mirror and looking at yourself. Now, when you take that mirror and you look at yourself, what do you see? Do you just see, and I can't, I'm not capable? Or do you see, I can, I am able to? Self-awareness allows us to look at our flaws and faults, not just so that we can, you are a stupid, or you are foolish, or oopsie. No, but also to begin to say, as I look at these flaws and faults, what can I do with them? Do I need to change habits? Do I need to reflect on what is a priority? What do I need to do? And so it becomes so important that when we look at self-awareness, we look at ourselves with the compassion that we extend to others. Because this room here is a room of perfectionists, crossing their T's, dotting their I's. And I can assure you, whenever they look at themselves, if you ask them, what happened last week? They will tell you, I messed up one meeting. I was late for one Zoom meeting, or I forgot to send minutes. They won't tell you, last week I managed to submit my assignments on time. They won't tell you, last week I managed to schedule all my boss's performance review. They won't tell you, last week I managed to carve out 2 hours for my self-care. They won't tell you, last week I managed to just spend time with the kids. They will only pick up at the flaws and the faults. And so, as we begin to look at resilience, let us also be self-aware, not just to beat ourselves over the head over what didn't go wrong, but to also celebrate the little things that came right. It is important to be knowledgeable about your challenges and why they exist. When we look at mindfulness, these words have been buzzwords from March last year, even to date, and I suspect for the near coming future, they are with us. For us to be fully present to identify and recognize patterns. You know, when you look at the things that are happening in your life, the things that you are going through, are you willing to say, life has got a funny way of teaching you a lesson? Because life does teach lessons, but the lessons are not always going to come in a textbook of 243 pages. Sometimes the lessons come in the little mistakes. Sometimes the lesson comes in the little celebration, in the small victories. The fact that you actually woke up one morning without a headache, without pulling the covers back, without saying, not another day, I don't feel like adulting, because that has been a reality. You wake up one morning and you don't want to adult. So when you look at yourself mindfully, when you are fully present and cognizant of what is going on, the patterns in your life, the things that keep repeating themselves, you are now in a better state to say, what do I want to keep? and what do I want to change? This has also been a buzzword, but tell me, how did you do self-care during the 21 days lockdown? I suspect for some of us was a holiday not to take a bath. I'm not naming any names, and I'm not pointing any fingers, and nobody is saying I did it or I didn't do it. But it was self-care, self-care. Take a moment to just enjoy a cup of coffee. Take a moment just to enjoy a long bath. Take a moment just to read a book, just to be you. Sometimes put your phone on flight mode and just relax, breathe, look at the sun shining. Just do the little things that give you pleasure. Even if it's just for 10, 15 minutes, an hour, that is more than enough. The people in this room are caregivers. They are excellent at checking on others. Are you well? Are you happy? Do I need to send you flowers? Oh, somebody is bereaved. Let's send a wreath. Let's send this. Have you sent yourself flowers? Have you just bought yourself a bouquet of flowers and say, these are for me to love, to look at, to smell, and to just admire and adore? I hope Net Florist is going to be busy after this session. Especially since some bosses are here that might feel guilty. So self-care is you taking care of yourself with no medical intervention. And we all know all it had to be was a long bath. Lock the door. Okay. Sorry for parents with young kids, you can't lock the door, otherwise the house will catch fire. But do you find those little moments just for yourself? When lockdown started in China, there were articles that said many relationships did not survive the lockdown. People discovered that they are married to strangers. People discovered that they don't like the people that they are married to. And others discovered, oh my God, this one is such an angel. I love being with them. Oh, did you also discover yourself and learn to love yourself? Relationships take work, guys. You have to work at them and build people. Build yourself so that you can be the best person that you can be in a relationship before you even get to the next person. And I loved this quote that says, a good relationship is when someone accepts your past, supports your present, and encourages your future. We need more encouragers than discouragers, especially in these very perilous times. Just so that you know, guys, I've got my tribe. Tulu and Dawn are my tribe. We literally have conversations in pajamas. And then we like, let's see your hairstyle. And I'm like, it's still under a duke. It's not yet time for it to come out into the sunshine. Or sometimes I've got my wild afro and I'm like, oh, Tulu, no, you can't see me. But unfortunately, that is the reality. We have to learn to just be. You can't always put up a mask. You have to wear a mask when you go outside. You can't put a mask with the people that you are in a relationship with. And I hope by now, everybody has discovered purpose. Because it's that which you were created for that is going to propel you in this day and time to allow you to do the things that give you pleasure and give you meaning. In this time, a lot of people have lost their jobs. But let me tell you, statistics are not fair to the truth that a lot of people have discovered purpose. And it is so important for us to discover that purpose so that no matter what comes our way, we are still solid enough to say, most definitely, this is why I exist. Just check if my team here is not sending me funny messages. Oh, wow, they've got compliments. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Right, guys, resilience has got rewards. It anchors you so that when the next setback comes, you've got some muscle strength. I honestly don't want you to get to crocodile thick skin, but I want you to develop some muscles, some biceps, some triceps, something that can anchor you when the next storm comes. Because it will come. That is the nature of life. And developing resilience is also a gift. I don't know if you guys love these 3 words as much as I do. I love these 3 words. Hindsight, insight, foresight. These are the gifts that resilience brings our way. When you have survived the unthinkable, you have overcome the unbelievable, you will now stand a little bit taller to say, I have overcome that. So whatever comes tomorrow, I know I also can overcome. And this is the tricky thing about life. These 3 lessons of hindsight, insight, and foresight, they cannot come in peaceful time. They come in times of war. They come after you have met the devil face on, and you take the tail of the devil and you tie his hands and you say, stay in your corner. I am moving forward. The things that resilience also teaches us are that in reflections, when you look back in hindsight, and then you begin to get an insight, understanding, when you process what happened. And when you have processed what happened, it then gives you a strategy, which is foresight for what is about or yet to come. So make hindsight and insight your friends so that when foresight is needed, you can pull out foresight from your bag of tricks. Let me shush a bit and allow this quote to marinate a bit for you from Robin Sharma. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope from what I've shared with you, you have been able to just have, even if it was a fraction, a little bit of reflection on what you have gone through, what you have overcome, so that you can take the lessons learned and the wisdom gained in hindsight to say, as much as they say life is not lived from the rear view mirror, now and then the rear view mirror is important for us to reflect on what happened so that we can process what happened with the wisdom of where we are and then be able to move on forward into the future with foresight. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Noms. What a powerful one. I'm sure everybody is really inspired, and I will not say much. The real trick in life is to turn hindsight into foresight that reveal insight. We needed that moment to process it and really process it. Thank you so much, Noms. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Nomvula Mloko, also known as Noms amongst ourselves. Yes. So thank you so much, and I will not be adding much or saying anything, because I think everything that you have said, we really have to take it and process it even beyond these awards. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, I'm going to now give an opportunity to the lady who's going to introduce our finalist for today. And she has, for many years, shown great passion and dedication in developing the administrative fraternity. She has truly been an inspiration and selflessly given this association her all to ensure that it is well-oiled. It is a well-oiled machine. She's also a facilitator with passion for empowering others to reach new levels through continuous learning and self-discovery. When wearing her cap as Director, Learning and Development, she empowers administrative professionals to add value to their role and gaining certifications and making a commitment to lifelong learning. She currently facilitates workshops for both soft and technical administrative professionals, as well as the OPSA Professional Designation Masterclass. She is a certified NLP practitioner and a Microsoft Office instructor. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome our CEO, Ms. Dawn Williams.
Thank you for those words, Tolo. And yes, I am indeed very passionate about lifelong learning and helping others to reach their potential through lifelong learning. Before I mention the names of the finalists, I'd just like to give a brief rundown of the process for the awards. For 3 months before the awards, OPSA sends out invitations via social media, via email. We talk to organizations and explain what the awards are all about. We encourage organizations to nominate administrative professionals using the following general criteria. People are innovative, people who put processes and systems into place so that they can add value to the workplace. They're collaborative and they are resourceful. They are active contributors to their team. They deliver administrative excellence on an ongoing basis. They're willing to go the extra mile. They collaborate successfully with colleagues, community members, and business networks. They consistently are trying to improve the systems and processes that they use or that the organization use to make it better. They make a positive first impression. They serve their customers, they serve customers with professionalism, enthusiasm, and care. But most of all, as well, that they are committed to both their personal and professional development. And that is very important. And that can be through formal learning, it can be informal learning, it can be sharing of knowledge. So we're not sticklers and say you have to have a qualification, but just some indication that personal development is an ongoing thing. We also look at values, attributes, and skills that we believe an administrative professional of 2021 should have: accountability, commitment, respect, being focused, service-oriented, good time management, self-confidence, be proactive. And the list can go on and on and on. So, but I think it gives you an idea of the kind of nominees that we are looking for. When a nominee comes in, we contact the nominee and we ask them if they would like to accept the nomination. If they do accept the nomination, they are then asked to send us documentation. We CV highlighting their high points of their career and especially their learning and any achievements that they have had. We also ask for copies of their qualification as well as their ID. They are also asked to write an essay on a topic that is decided by the judges and the OPSA directors. And this year it was about how you can stay relevant, looking around you at the situation in the workplace today with COVID-19 and everything else that's happening. How do you ensure that as an administrative professional, you stay relevant in the workplace? And we had some really, really interesting essays coming. It also gives us a good idea of the nominee and their outlook for the future and where they are today. So they then send all that information through to us. That goes to the judges. If the judges need any additional information, we either request it from the nominator or the nominee. The judging takes place, the judges sit separately and they go through the documentation, which they then allocate a score to. We then put the scores together, and if there are any huge discrepancies, and interestingly enough, people tend to go for the same, tend to score the same. But if there are discrepancies, the judges will sit down together and they will discuss it and then come to an agreement. So that is the process that takes place, and we then break it down into the semi-finalists and your finalists and then your winners. This year you will note that we have 3 winners instead of having a category for the private industry, the public sector, and for NGO and for mentorship. The reason being that we had a number of nominations come in this year. In fact, we had 54 come in on one day, the power of social media. And they were all so great. And it was very difficult to say, okay, let's put them into certain categories, because there were some that were great in the public, who come from the public industry, but did a lot of mentorship, as well as had the characteristics of everything else we were looking for. Likewise in public, likewise in NGO. So it was very difficult to say, well, put this one in mentorship, put this one in public, put this one in private. So we decided that this year, because of the amount of nominations we had and the quality of the nominations, we would put them into one big basket and select 5 finalists from that basket and then 3 winners from that. Thank you to our sponsors for the 2021 awards, CBM Training. Thank you for partnering with us once again, and for your vouchers to the value of 6,500 Rand for each of our winners. To Kate from CV Champions, thank you for coming on board this year. And thank you for that very useful information that you gave us during your talk. And our winners will each be getting a CV rewrite and a reformat from Kate. Thank you to IAG Hotels, the Roseband Holiday Inn Hotels, for giving accommodation vouchers for 1 night for 2 people, including bed and breakfast. And for Louida Lodge for accommodation vouchers for 1 night stay for 2 people, bed and breakfast as well. Thank you very much to our sponsors. It's always nice to have that little added extra at the end of the awards. I would also like to give Lindsay Hulley, the acting chair of our executive committee, an accommodation voucher for doing all the hard work in getting the sponsorships. It's not the easiest job to do. And especially in this economy, people aren't that willing just to give out freebies. So thank you, Lindsay, for all your effort in getting us sponsors for the awards 2021, and enjoy your 1 night stay. Tapelo Kakatsi from the Vaal University of Technology. Tapelo is highly self-driven with impeccable management, administrative, personal, and people management skills. He's creative and hardworking, and is passionate about what he does. Tapelo empowers others through mentoring and is happy to share his skills and knowledge. He is a dedicated worker that serves with delicacy and honesty. Nishani Govender from Mirabilis. Nishani is a dedicated executive assistant who has earned respect for her work ethic, leadership style, and genuine integrity. She's a go-getter and gets a job done, whether it is sitting at a strategic meeting or running to the nearest Seattle to arrange coffee for everyone. As well as an IT degree, Nishani has a postgraduate diploma in business management, a diploma in HR management, and diploma in fundamentals of project management. Lincoln Anthony. Lincoln is soft-spoken and very knowledgeable. He runs the office of the Chief Director at the Department of Transport and Public Works in the Western Cape. He knows with years of experience exactly where to get what, and is always available to assist and provide evidence information. He understands the provincial requirements branding, and he is a pleasure to work with. In 2020, Lincoln received a Bachelor of Public Administration with Honours degree and has a BTech degree in Project Management. Linky Matara from CEDA. Linky works under challenging circumstances in terms of workload, deadlines, ad hoc duties, and overall departmental administrative challenges. She is a fast learner who does her duties diligently, always with a smile and with utmost professionalism. Her 24-hour availability and willingness to assist makes her a dream assistant and a godsend pleasure to work with. She is simply the best. Linky has an advanced and postgraduate diploma in business management, as well as a diploma in public administration. Salome Pedersen from the Department of Transport and Public Works, Western Cape. Salome is quiet and respectful, knowledgeable, and totally professional. She assists not only her own manager, but others in her branch as well. In 2020, Salome achieved an advanced diploma in public administration.
Madam CEO, and ladies and gentlemen, the 2021 OPSA Administrative Excellence Awards are going to the following three administrative professionals who have been found to be excellent in their space in which they work in. And the first award, we are going to present it to, and as we present the award, we'd like you to show your screen. So basically, you just click on the camera and just say 2 words, not long because we don't have much time. The first award goes to Linky Matara. Congratulations, Linky. Well done and keep it up.
Thank you. Woo!
Congratulations, you made it, girl.
Yeah!
Well done.
Thank you so much, OPSA. I appreciate my colleagues. Yes. I'm going to make sure that I take this title and I'm not going to pull down the dignity. I'm going to represent it very well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Because once you become a finalist, you become an ambassador of OPSA.
Oh.
So I appreciate the fact that you're saying you're going to hold it up like that, because now other administrative professionals will be looking up to you in terms of how they need to carry themselves, what kind of work ethic they need to have, and so on.
Thank you.
Well done. Okay, moving on to another winner for 2021 is none other than Lincoln Anthony.
So unexpected, really, because everything happened in a short while and very quickly. But thanks to everyone involved, and as you've mentioned earlier, Tolo, I think everyone that has been nominated, and made it through the finals, I think they're all winners. So well done to everyone, and thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Lincoln. And I must say that it gives me pleasure every year to see a male office professional also win, because it basically confirms that there are a lot of male office professionals and are also doing exceptionally well in their spaces.
I do agree with you. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, the final one goes to Nishani.
Before April this year, I had no idea that this category of award even existed. So very big thank you to OPSA for this platform and for recognizing all the behind the scenes work done by administrative professionals. To the fellow nominees in the profession, congratulations to all of you, and well done for being the workhorse that always holds the fort together in whichever organization you may be at. To the person who started off as a work colleague, but is now a dear friend of mine, Trudy Perumal, I hope you're online and listening. Thank you so much for this wonderful nomination, which really did take me by surprise. Equally important are the key individuals whom I've worked with over the last 20 years, who guided and supported me and gave me the learning opportunities, which enabled me to do what I do in the best way I can. To end, I just want to dedicate this achievement to my teenage sons, and I want to use it to remind them that learning never ever stops and never goes wasted or unacknowledged. When you think you're done, you got to do some more. Knowledge is a lifetime asset, and learning and growing is an ongoing exercise if you want to stay real, resourceful, and relevant. So thank you very much.
What a great acceptance speech, Nishani. Well done. Well done, and thank you. Thank you for attending as well. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the winners, our excellent administrators in 2021. Finally, thank you for being part of these awards, ladies and gentlemen. It is always a pleasure to have this kind of awards and acknowledge and celebrate those that have basically been outstanding and exceptional in their work. And also, please remember that OPSA is always reinventing itself to stay relevant and to make sure that it offers you a space where you can empower yourselves, where you can develop yourselves, where you can also have a society or a network that you belong to share ideas, to exchange information for you to actually be better in your space. And added to that, we've got professional designations and professional development masterclass. And to know about this, please visit our website, www.opsa.org.za. The whole information is there, and you can also get in touch with us if you want us to come to your organization to talk to your fellow administrative professionals, and also perhaps to run a training or a conference. We are open to be part of any organization to do that. And also, if you need some kind of mentorship or coaching, the three of us as directors always avail ourselves to assist you on that. We trust that we'll see each other very soon again, and look out for those monthly newsletters that come from the office, so you get informed about other events that may be coming and the developments that OPSA is busy putting out for you as a member. Thank you, keep well, and God bless.